very easily been a world champion, except for some close, controversial fights with Laurent Bourgeois at junior middleweight and Johnny Nelson at cruiser. Title fights that could have gone either way. He left, no doubt, his last bout with a career-best fourth-round stoppage of former champ Kelvin Davis. And as Al pointed out, claims he gave Jean-Marc Mormec the right formula to beat Wayne Braithwaite when he sparred with the Frenchman. Question is, will his own advice pay off for him tonight?
Yeah, and the reason he could give him that plan is because Jones sparred with Braithwaite very early in his career, and before Braithwaite was even champion, he felt those things would work against him, and he will try and use that game plan tonight.
Can't emphasize enough how important this fight is to this man. He says it represents his whole life. You just wonder how many chances he has left if it doesn't work out tonight. He said he hoped to end matters early and win by knockout. And the former champ Wayne Braithwaite looking to rejuvenate his career at age 30. He has the time to accomplish plenty more. The result of tonight's fight will determine whether he'll have the opportunity. A national hero in his native Guyana, now living in Brooklyn, New York. But in the fight with Mormec, unable to validate his 2.5-year run as a world titleist. His first loss led to key changes. No, he didn't fire his mother as his manager, but he did replace longtime trainer Colin Morgan with veteran Lennox Blackmore. This fight is everything to him.
You know, all four of the fighters tonight that we're seeing see these fights tonight as the most important they could have in their career. And ironically, for Wayne Braithwaite, when you're 30 years old and a champion, to suffer your first loss as a pro usually wouldn't make your next fight so important. But for him, it is indeed, especially because of the nature of the cruiserweight division.
One of those guys who is a powerful puncher, 17 of his 21 wins by KO, yet he's also quite vulnerable, which always makes for an interesting and often exciting combination. The winner tonight becomes the WBC and WBA #1 contender, as well as the IBF #2 contender. Braithwaite cannot afford to slip twice. Braithwaite 3 years younger. Jones has the 3-inch height advantage, but interestingly, it's Braithwaite with the 3-inch edge in reach. At yesterday's weigh-in, Braithwaite a career-heavy 192.5.
Yeah, and you know, he only weighed 188 for Jean-Marc Mormec. Wanted very much to be at a higher weight. Wanted to be at 197, only got to 192. This is a serious issue for him now with this weight class moved up to 200 pounds. Can he compete against these bigger fighters?
And Jones down from his career heaviest of 204.5 his last fight. Notable rules: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt occurs before the end of the 4th round, it's a no decision. If it happens after the end of the 4th, they go to the scorecards.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we present our main event of the evening, at this time I'd like to ask you to rise for the singing of our national anthem. And gentlemen, good evening to you and welcome to Gund Arena here in Cleveland, Ohio for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Don King Productions and Showtime. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the WBC President Jose Suleiman, Supervisor Joe Dwyer, the WBA President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Enzo Bagnariol, and the IBF President Marian Mohammed, Supervisor Lindsey Tucker, along with the Ohio Athletic Commission Executive Director Bernie Profato. Physicians at ringside, Dr. John George and Dr. Jerome Williams, and our timekeeper at the bell, Rick Keenan, keeping count of the knockdowns, Gino Camelli. Introducing our 3 judges, scoring from ringside, from Columbus, Ohio, Mike Ancona. From Greenwood, Indiana, Nathan Palmer. And from Youngstown, Ohio, Phil Rogers. And our 3rd man in the ring, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Jim Villers. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the Cruiserweight World Championship elimination. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Cleveland, Ohio, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with multicolored trim, hailing from Colón City, Panama. He weighed in at 199 pounds with a record of 32 wins, 3 losses, and 2 draws. He has 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former world title challenger and the WBC number 3 ranked cruiserweight, introducing Guillermo El Felino Jones. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the red corner in this 12-round attraction. He is wearing green trunks with multicolored trim, fighting in Brooklyn, New York by way of Georgetown, Guyana. He weighed in at a ready 192.5 pounds with a record of 21 wins, only 1 defeat. He has 17 big wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked the WBC number 2 contender. Please welcome the former WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Wayne Big Truck Braithwaite.
All right, baby. Yeah.
Once again, a referee in charge, Jim Villers, now to give instructions. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled.
Gentlemen, please. You've been given your rules. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Any questions over here? Any questions over here? Okay, about your belt. All this is good. Touch him up, come out of the belt.
Originally tonight's main event, Daniel Santos, Jose Antonio Rivera for the WBO junior middleweight belt, but Rivera sustained a training injury to his elbow. That fell out. So enter Braithwaite and Jones. Braithwaite's loss to Mormek really hit him hard, something he'd never experienced before, and a feeling he never wants to experience again. Told us we'll see a totally different Wayne Braithwaite tonight. Guillermo Jones, 15 first-round knockouts, but mostly at welterweight and junior middle. Like Braithwaite, switches back and forth. Only Jones is a righty who switches to lefty. Braithwaite's a natural southpaw. Jones has busy hands, but does Braithwaite have the heavier hands? Will that be a big difference here?
And Wayne Braithwaite comes out as a right-hander in this fight, which I think is a very good move on his part. Well, as soon as I say that, guess what? He switches to left.
Well, he's more aggressive as a right-hander, and he throws harder.
Yep.
He controls the fight more as a southpaw, but seems to have more passion as a right-hander.
And the other issue, and he even said it to us, he doesn't know why he switches when he does switch, and that was a perfect example. He came out as a righty for the first 15 seconds, switched to lefty before anybody had thrown a punch. Now he's back to righty. Why? It's interesting. Well, we'll see how he performs.
See how it all comes out. Both guys targeting IBF champ O'Neal Bell. Then WBC WBA champ Jean-Marc Mormek. Braithwaite wants Mormek again badly, but he's got to get by Guillermo Jones here tonight.
Now there's those right hands by Jones. He can land those, and they knocked out Kelvin Davis, and he already stunned Braithwaite with it.
Braithwaite just trying to hang on. Boy, he had Braithwaite off balance. Jones with another heavy right hand. He's landing these shots. And back comes Braithwaite with an overhand right.
And where does Braithwaite not want to be against the ropes? So the two good things that could happen to Guillermo Jones have happened in round 1.
Well, Lennox Blackmore, his new trainer, trying to teach him to punch his way off the ropes. And Guillermo Jones just all over Braithwaite. Now back comes Braithwaite. But that left, that jab, followed by the right hand, is connecting for Jones. Again, it's Braithwaite against the ropes, trying to hold on. So the things that ruined him against Mormek are coming back to haunt him against Jones.
This is a replay, except it's worse against Guillermo Jones.
And Jones just continues to land firing right hands over the top, clubbing shots.
It's astonishing Wayne Braithwaite hasn't gone down yet in this fight.
Step back! Don't do that! Let's go!
He can't miss with the right hand, Charles.
Target practice for Guillermo Jones. Doesn't matter what stance Braithwaite is in right now. Bloody mouth for Braithwaite. 20 seconds remaining in a terrible first round for Wayne Braithwaite. the former champ. Jones is climbing all over it. Braithwaite once again stumbling all over the place. What a barrage here by Guillermo Jones, teeing off with the right hand at the bell.
Come on, man, you gotta punch. Move your hands. This guy's tired. You gotta let me work, okay? This guy is tired, man.
Man, the bucket.
What am I doing? Spin it right in the toilet. Spin it in the toilet, I said. Man, you want to fight? Get in.
Use your legs, baby.
Yo, you ever say?
Well, Guillermo Jones came in here with the plan to land the right hand. It landed all during the first round. That was the first one that really hurt Wayne Braithwaite. And we thought he would have to counter over the hook, Guillermo Jones. He didn't have to. He threw jabs, he threw straight right hands. And Steve, you made the point, and it was an accurate one. Jones landed right hands whether Braithwaite was a lefty or a righty. And then the other issue is Braithwaite didn't want to be against the ropes in this fight. Well, already in round one, he was pinned against the ropes for at least a third of round one. Just a nightmarish round one for Wayne Braithwaite.
Braithwaite just has to snap out of it here as we enter round two. Can he turn this thing around? It would be dramatic. He starts the second round in the southpaw stance. Jones, a right-hander who can switch, but he doesn't have to the way things are going. Just keep doing what he's doing. Hammer away with those rights.
It's interesting how open Wayne Braithwaite is to the right. Jean-Marc Mormec landed that punch repeatedly, but in round one, Jones landed almost as many as Mormec did in the first 6 rounds. Now, Wayne Braithwaite got through round one. Okay, so now here he is. He needs to buy time, clearly, get his head together, get back in this fight, and see if he can make some things happen offensively.
Jones has really done his homework. I mean, he sparred with Mormec. He sparred with Braithwaite years ago when before Braithwaite was a champion back in Brooklyn. So he knows Braithwaite very well. The Braithwaite really does look small in there.
And interestingly, here's Jones, who came all the way up from welterweight, started at 147 in his pro career, and here he is up to right around 200.
They call him the incredible expanding man.
Braithwaite gets in with the right hand. He's starting to use the hand speed. That's the key for Braithwaite. Now there, you see him throwing multiple punches on the inside. But he gets clubbed with yet another right hand by Jones. Braithwaite is throwing a lot of left hooks. That is not the best because he could be countered with that right again.
And Braithwaite does have power. He is strong. Braithwaite normally a fast starter, but wow, was that neutralized by Jones. 15 of Braithwaite's last 16 wins by knockout.
And actually, against Mormec, his first round or two wasn't bad for Wayne Braithwaite, but then it went south on him. Here, just the opposite.
Jones stalking, 5-1-1 since moving up to cruiserweight. His lone defeat in that span 2 fights ago. A very close split decision to #1 contender Steve Cunningham, who won a unanimous decision earlier tonight over former IBF champ Kelvin Davis to remain undefeated.
Yeah, the same Davis that Jones beat in his last fight to get this important fight. Now Braithwaite in a bad posture on the ropes. He's throwing punches off the ropes, but he needs to make this fight in the center of the ring, which he is now.
Referee, the no-nonsense Jim Villers out of Youngstown, Ohio.
Very good. Very good. Sit up. Let us work. Let us work, baby. There you go. Very good.
Take deep breath, baby. Breathe, baby. Breathe. How you
doing, man?
Cham. You're good, baby. I know you're good. Better round, baby.
Oh, give me a chance, man.
Be more lucid, baby. Be more lucid, baby.
Give me a chance first,
okay?
Pump to punch this guy. Keep on your right side. Stay with the jab, and you can get the bleeding.
Esta cintura, él no está haciendo nada. Esto es movimiento de la cintura. Él no quiere más nada.
He doesn't want any more of you. Keep putting pressure on him. Use your best defense.
Ya.
Jab, jab, and then hit him in the body. Jab, and then hit him to the body. Boom, boom, boom. You're doing well. Okay, come on. Come on.
Eric Jones translating the Spanish spoken in Jones' corner. Antonio Armstrong with Jones for a couple of years out of Panama City. Lennox Blackmore very animated in the corner of Wayne Braithwaite.
What was the last thing they told Wayne Braithwaite? Be on your right side. Be a righty. What is he? He's a lefty.
Unbelievable.
That's amazing. He has a mental block about this. He really does. And you'd think it's really interesting. He's more effective as a righty. He just is.
And he said the biggest mistake he made against Mormek was underestimating the strength of Mormek. And he said he'd never do that again. However, he could have countered that strength, that power, if we think if he had fought more out of the right-handed stance.
Now he's back to righty, and when he uses multiple punches, throws combinations, look how effective he can be. Landed a good right hand against Jones.
He's able to push Jones back. And did he tell us he's more comfortable as a right-hander?
Yes, it's really interesting. Jones inexplicably headed backwards. Maybe a couple of his punches hurt him. And why does Braithwaite switch back to lefty? That's fascinating. It really is amazing.
Step back.
Having certainly a better third round, though.
Braithwaite in the southpaw stance. Braithwaite 21-1 with 17 knockouts, an 8-year pro. Jones, a 12-year pro, 32-3-2, 25 knockouts. Braithwaite in the green, Jones in the white.
Now, Guillermo Jones has been very inactive in this round. His loss to Cunningham, a very close loss, could have gone either way. Happened because Jones really just dropped his work rate a lot in that fight, and he has a habit of doing that from time to time. We see it happening here. He's just not punching enough.
I thought he beat Johnny Nelson over in England.
Oh, my, yes. And that was a terrible decision, yeah.
Hometown decision. Nelson from Sheffield, England. Long-time WBO champ. This is an interesting situation. The cruiserweight division languishing for years. Here comes Braithwaite, languishing in anonymity, but yet there's a pretty solid core of talent in there.
Right at the top 5 or 6 fighters, fun to watch. And here comes Wayne Braithwaite having an exceptional third round.
The thing I like about it is that they're fighting each other. They're willing to go at it with each other.
Everybody at the top of that division is fighting each other. Now,
here comes Braithwaite.
Braithwaite's doing very well, but he has to be very careful. These are big, wide punches. He could be countered by Jones, and there it is. There's the right hand over the left.
First an uppercut, then an overhand right. Left hook by Braithwaite. That time it was a left hook because he's on the right-handed stance.
Good right by Braithwaite.
Braithwaite got it on there towards the end of the third round. So he has begun to turn it.
Acá, ¿a dónde? Ahí. Vamos. Vamos a echar agua, vamos.
Come on, give me some water.
¿Qué
Come on,
pasa?
let's
Yo
go.
te voy a dar
What are you
sacar la
doing?
pelea.
What's going on?
¿Qué pasó? ¿Dónde? Aquí.
What's going on over there?
¿Aquí o qué?
Take it easy.
Vamos, ya no va a haber nada. Vamos, ya no va a haber nada. Aquí no hay nada de calambre, no, olvídate calambre. Vamos a pelear con él, ¿ok? Ya lo tienes, esa pelea es tuya.
Hey, atácalo tú, no dejes que él tome la iniciativa.
Wayne Braithwaite came back in this fight. Now there, he did fairly well in the left-handed stance, but when he turns righty is when he'll club him with the right hand. Braithwaite was very effective, especially toward the end of that round with the straight right hand.
More than a subtle change here in this fight. You sense the urgency in the Jones corner. A lot of screaming and hollering. Well, these guys may not exactly... Oh, good right hand by Braithwaite, a long right.
Look at how much better he can do as a righty. And when he throws combinations, Braithwaite is doubly effective. This is about as dramatic a turn in a fight, Steve, as we've seen in a long, long time.
And I started to say, not exactly household names, these guys. Nevertheless, a lot of competitive spirit, which you love to see. After a tough first round, Braithwaite turning things around.
And that's the combination punching that he wanted to do. And Guillermo Jones has just stopped punching.
Braithwaite going to the technique, the boxing, speed and power, which they're working on, going to the body and to the head.
But Jones now landing those right hands again, and he hurt Braithwaite.
Back comes Jones. Braithwaite. A lot of moisture, and when you have the logo there, it makes it worse. Both corners are completely drenched.
Look out of here! Look out of here!
Action-packed round 4. A lot of ebb and flow. The left hand by Braithwaite.
When Braithwaite throws that left hook, which he landed there, he leaves himself open for the counter right. He's got to be very careful about that. And of course, he doesn't want to be against the ropes, but he is. Jones looking for that one opportunity to land the right.
Jones setting up the right with a nice jab. And just taking Braithwaite around the ring to the other side.
This is an exciting round of boxing.
Very competitive round. Right uppercut by Jones. Oh, a right hand by Braithwaite on the jaw. And Jones has some chin.
Great combination punching, and Jones comes back with an uppercut.
Jones has been down only one time in his career against David Noel in '97. Now here's Jones coming back. Braithwaite lost his balance, holding onto the ropes, which is illegal, and Jones all over Braithwaite.
Show me something! Show me something!
I think he stopped the fight. Jim Miller has stopped the fight, and Jones collapses in emotion. He's the winner. Here in round 4, Braithwaite in disbelief. And you hear the crowd reaction. It may have been a little premature, a questionable stoppage.
A series of right hands landed by Jones, and there was at least the impression that Wayne Braithwaite couldn't defend himself. Meanwhile, Jones is on the canvas either from fatigue or some injury.
What is happening here? Jones collapsed.
He can't even fucking believe.
But he's talking, but they are rushing to get his shoes off. Something with his leg, his right leg.
They're working on his right leg, man. Maybe it's a cramp, but who knows?
I said, show me something. You didn't show me. What do you want me to do? Let him kill you?
I'm gonna kill me, man.
So
Oh no, I know, but you can't do that.
They got him up, and now he can celebrate. I thought he collapsed in emotion. That seemed to be what happened, but it was, I think you're right, perhaps a cramp in his right leg. That's what it was. Jim Gray is now confirming that from up above in the ring.
Fascinating exchange between Jim Villers and Braithwaite. Villers saying, what do you want me to do? Let him kill you? I told you, show me something. Well, this will be much talked about.
So Braithwaite losing his second straight. And he is in just disbelief and totally disheartened there in the corner.
Now, Wayne Braithwaite was in a world of trouble toward the end of this fight. Make no mistake about that, and we'll take a look at it. This is where Jones turned things around with what else? The right hand, after Braithwaite had done very well in the third round and into this round as well. Here's where Braithwaite was in trouble, and Jones was whacking him. Now, there'll be a series of right hands in a moment or two here. And this is where Villers decided that Braithwaite just couldn't defend himself. The uppercut part of it. The rights, some getting in, well, that one getting in, that one not, that one not, and I'll tell you what.
Oh, man, I don't know.
You have to really think hard about this. Those last two right hands didn't even get there, and Jim Villers had a perfect view of those punches. I mean, that's odd, to be perfectly candid, because those punches missed.
That missed.
And here we take a look at Braithwaite getting into some trouble here. Jones landing the right hands. This is the ending portion of the fight. Now we're looking at it from the same angle Jim Villers saw it from at that moment in any case. And here's Braithwaite on the ropes. There will be a series of right hands. Several of them did land flush. But now watch these carefully, because here that missed, and then Jim Villers stepped in. When a guy ducks 2 punches in a row, you have to think about whether you should jump in and stop it.
But could he have called it a knockdown, Villers? Because he, ruling that he was being held up by the ropes to at least give it a chance to continue. And then a few seconds later, if he sees it's happening again, then go in and stop.
I don't know if he could have, Steve, because I don't know that the punch threw him against the ropes. I just think, to be perfectly candid, if a guy ducks 2 punches in a row, it's premature.
Of course, there's no standing 8 count.
Yeah.
Well, Braithwaite still in shock. Let's get the official announcement from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time, 2 minutes, 26 seconds in round number 4. A referee in charge, Jim Villers, stops the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, Guillermo El Felino Jones.
Well, there it is. Guillermo Jones is the winner of this elimination bout, and now he's in a position to fight O'Neal Bell. Both fighters and the referee in the ring with Jim Gray. Jim.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Guillermo, congratulations to you. We have Wayne here as well. How did you manage to pull this off? You got off to such a good start in the first round, and then it looked like you were in trouble.
Yes, I get in trouble because I got a pain in my bone, so I didn't.
A pain where?
In my bone, in the foot, so I can't stand good. So I got to be right there, and then brains come and doing work. So then in the another round, we come out and try, don't making it, draw the punch, and look to get in my one. So that is what we do, and we win the fight.
When did the cramp in your foot come? What round?
From the second round.
Second round.
Yeah.
What were you expecting in this fight? Were you expecting to get off to such a good start?
Yeah, I know this was going to be a good fight because Braithwaite is a good champ. He's a good fighter. I met spar with him in 2000 in Brooklyn. So I know him for a long time. I know him coming. I know him want to do. The fight he met with Mormon, I helped Mormon make and beat him. So that is the same what we coming and do with him. And we try to do it, but something happened, but we do it.
That gave you the confidence. Wayne, the disappointment that you must be feeling now, again this evening, can you begin to describe it?
Yeah, I'm disappointed, man, but I don't think the referee should have stopped the fight. If he would have supposed to stop the fight, he's supposed to stop the fight in the fourth round, but what can I say, man? I think it's a bad stoppage. I worked very hard for this. Me and my team worked very hard. I was looking forward for this because I had my heart set for this fight.
It seemed as though you were able to regain control after a very bad first round. What happened that allowed it to slip away in the middle of the fourth round when you were in control of the third and in the fourth?
The ring is a little bit slippy, so I'm not going to forget my foot well in the ring. So I wasn't hard.
He hit you with so many shots, and it looked as though you were defenseless. But you don't understand the stoppage?
It wasn't hard, man, but the referee, I don't know the referee. The referee is an amateur. I don't know where to get the referee from. I could have continued this fight.
Let's take a look at the monitor here, and you can tell us, Wayne, what it is exactly you see here as we look in the fourth round. Tell us what's going through your mind right here.
I was trying to get my combination off because we worked very hard for this, and like you said, we sparred in 2002, and I think
1, 2. Okay.
You're
trying to hold on.
Yeah, but I'm slipping too. You see, I slipped there again. You see, he hit me with his elbows. though. See, miss. I was blocking. I was blocking most of the punches.
Nothing that he could yell.
One punch.
You see, I was blocking mostly punches.
This is the point right here.
Focus. Still
Miss. You see, he's missing. The punches was missing, and the referee stopped it. So
that was early stoppage, baby.
I don't think. I think the referee's immature, man. I work very hard.
All right, let's bring in the referee. Where is Jim? Jim, come on in here. Jim Villers, the referee. You just had a chance to see that replay as well, Wayne. Thank you.
And I'd stop it again. I'd stop it again. He's lucky he made it. He's lucky he made it through the first round.
Hold on. You had your chance. Let him speak here a second. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, I asked him several times to show me something, to respond, and he looked right at me, and he was getting pummeled. He was getting hit. You could see he was getting hit. He was getting hit the first round. I was thinking about stopping in the first round, and he even says, "Why didn't you stop it in the first round?"
Okay, hold on. Now let's take a look. Let's have your chance here. It does look at the end of this fight as though these punches were grazing him and weren't landing as cleanly as it looked when we saw it at first. Tell us your thoughts here, Jim.
Look, there's a good shot. Shot. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is right from your point of view right here.
Come on, he's getting hit. He's getting hit hard.
Slap shots, baby.
Slap shots?
Look at the monitor. Try to ignore them. Come on, Jim. Tell us what you're thinking.
What I'm thinking? I'm letting the fight go. I let fight it. Look at this. Look at these shots right in the mouth. The head. Another one. Another one. His head is popped back. What are you kidding? You want him hurt? I protected your fighter. He can fight again another day.
Well, after seeing that a couple of times, I think you did a good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Go back to the gym and fight again. Go back to the gym.
Fight's over, Jim. Folks, everybody has an issue up here. When you look at it, you can see all points of view. We just saw it from a couple of different angles. You can see exactly how Wayne feels, and you can also see how the referee, Jim Villers, feels. Let's go back down to Steve Albert.